You may have heard the saying that when life hands you lemons, make lemonade. Well, I made what I like to call a salad bar of garden greens. Hey everyone, Natissa here, and welcome to You Can Grow Too. Basically what that saying means is when life hands you bad or frustrating things, turn it to something good. And that's what I did. Basically what happened was, as I've told you before on this channel, my husband and I have a fire pit out in our backyard. We enjoy it and have found it to be also a great tool for our garden. We have it by the bench. We will burn a lot of our garden waste, maybe yard waste like sticks from hurricanes. Like we just had Hurricane Milton come by, which of course had a lot of plant debris and yard debris. And we use that as a way to recycle these things on our property by burning it, maybe taking the wood charcoal and soaking it in our compost tea to make what is called biochar. That's been something I've been playing around with in the garden. Basically like making a battery of nutrition for your garden using that burnt wood. And of course using the wood ash as well, because wood ash is something that has nutrients in it that can help your plants grow well too. And not only that, but we've also enjoyed using the fire out in our backyard. And we have been doing this for a while, and we are also very responsible by making sure a hose is on and ready just in case. And it never gets too big at all. It's just in this little fire pit that you can actually get at your local big box stores. I don't know what was different about this day, but my husband started the fire. I had the hose. I decided to actually water the garden as he was getting it started. And also, like I said, we always have the hose ready to go just in case of any problems. But someone complained and decided to call the fire department. And I understand, as a neighbor living in the suburbs, I have seen, smoke rising from someone's yard, and I have peeked over just to make sure everything was okay, because if something looked or seemed off. And yeah, it was fine. They're just grilling, having a little camp out fire in back, no big deal. They continue their life, I continue mine. But not this person. Apparently they thought they knew better. So the fire department came, we invited them out in the back, they checked everything out, and they were not concerned at all. They actually kind of apologized and said that, when there's a complaint, they just have to come out. That's just what they have to do. They're doing their job, and I respect that. And there is a rule out there that they did tell us that the only things you can burn in your backyard, apparently, are store-bought logs. And like I said, we were just burning some of the yard waste from not only our garden, but also just because of Hurricane Milton. Thought we were being responsible. And I guess it's more of those guidelines so people aren't just burning tons of non-organic stuff in their backyard, or so it doesn't become this large bonfire because you are in the middle of a neighborhood. So it's kind of one of those guidelines / rules that just kind of keep things managed. But bottom line, people really don't care or mind. It's just when somebody complains about it, then it becomes an issue. And now that we know this guideline, of course, we're not going to go against it. So we still could use our fire pit. We just need to buy some store-bought logs. And, my husband and I were talking about it and thinking what we were going to do. And you know how these things go. If there's someone that kind of gets a little, think that they know best, you just don't want to deal with it. It was a hard decision to make. I admit I had some tears because, like I said, I saw this as a great garden tool, but we decided not to use our fire pit, at least not as a fire pit, but turn it into a garden bed. So what I had done was I cleared out some of the burnt pieces of wood that were already in it so we can maybe get our last batch of biochar. Took out some of the other wood pieces because I have a plan of what I want to do with that later. And I had some kitchen scraps, food scraps, and some chicken bones, and I just poured it at the bottom of the fire pit. I also put down some slow release organic fertilizer because as I plant things in here, the roots can go deep with some of these crops I plan on planting in the future, and they can go down and still get a lot of nutrition. And I also had bags of compost on hand that I have tested for herbicide. All I basically do is plant some beans in the bag, and if the bean plants get, about over a foot high and they're looking pretty good, I deem it okay, no herbicides in it, and I use it in my garden. along with peat moss in order to have a nice absorbing material for moisture. And of course we need draining material, and I have plenty of sand from a gardening project that we had taken apart. So I loaded that in, and of course put some more slow release organic fertilizer and mixed it all up. I did have some extra seedlings ready to go from a seed saving project I've been working on, so I put it in the garden along with a cabbage that was planted out and just not in the best spot, and we'll see what happens. It's actually looking pretty good right now since the day I planted it. And like magic, we turned our lemons into a salad bar of garden greens. Now what about us not being able to make charcoal from wood and turning it into biochar? The project I have been working on? Well, that lemon is turning into a garden experiment of taking some of that wood, soaking it into my compost tea, and just seeing if we can mimic biochar and still put good nutrition in our gardens with what we have. Will it feed our gardens? We will see. But if life or the garden hands you lemons, I hope you turn it into something good too. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.